Paradox Tinto decided to surprise us once more, this time with some unique maps of Greenland, Iceland, and parts of the New World. And yes, we're gonna have an answer to whether we're gonna have Norse people in Greenland in this video, as well as some little interesting snippets I managed to gather from the comment section that Johan once more alluded to. Oh, better yet, Pavia, really, because this is Pavia's domain. So this is actually a brand new series called Tinto Maps Extra Part 1 North Atlantic, where essentially what they're going to be doing, from what I understand, is they're going to show like the smaller bits that didn't make it into the bigger areas, such as, for example, certain islands around the various oceans, or certain bits that maybe got revamped or were not sufficient enough to become their own unique dev diary. Pavia does mention that it is a bank holiday in Spain and we won't be available to address and reply to feedback properly. However, we thought it would be a good idea to show some extra maps that haven't been covered in Tinto Maps before. I think these maps were supposed to arrive quite a while back, but whatever the case. So we see Greenland, Iceland, as well as the Azores, Madeira, Canaries, Cape Verde, and that's pretty much it. So this is the political map here. We've got Iceland, we've got a little bit of Greenland. They are separate entities actually, and if we scroll over here a little bit, you can see that Greenland owns this bit. There's another bit over to the northern part, but it is not actually owned by Greenland, so keep that in mind. However, it is colonizable. As for the southern parts, the Azores are not yet colonized by anyone, and nor are they, the Canaries are not colonized, Madeira is not colonized, Cape Verde is also not colonized, and we have again Jolaf and the coastline here with Mali as well that we've seen in the previous dev diary. Now when it comes to the Azores not being colonized, that actually makes sense because the Azores were actually colonized in 1427. The island of Santa Maria is the first one that got colonized, and up until 1450s the rest of them eventually got colonized by the Portuguese. The same goes for the Canaries. They should start, well, technically in history they were colonized in 1402, or better yet, the process of the Crown of Castile taking a hold of the Gran Canary Islands, or the Canary Islands better yet, started within 1402, and it didn't just instantly happen. Of course, eventually within a few years all of them got conquered. Cape Verde was the last one, as we all know. Even in EU4 it's not yet colonized in 1444, so it makes sense for all of these not to be colonized. Now one thing I have to say about this is awesome because it gives a chance for all the would-be colonizer nations to get a hold of these islands before the Portuguese and the Castilians do. Now we do know that everyone will have the opportunity to colonize as soon as they want. The only limiting factor is going to be the range as well as the amount of money, because earlier colonization is not as efficient and significantly more expensive. So because of that, you can snipe away the Azores, Canaries, and Cape Verde from the Portuguese and the Castilians, but at what cost? That is the real question there. Now they did make the decision to have Greenland and Iceland both subject nations to the Kingdom of Norway and are represented like that, whilst the other Atlantic islands are not under the control of any country, therefore not shown here. Exactly what I was talking about. Greenland and Iceland are separate entities, both of them subjects of the Kingdom of Norway. I'm curious whether Greenland is gonna have the opportunity to colonize the rest of Greenland, maybe via some event or some unique flavor for that, maybe even some flavor for Greenland to go back to Newfoundland and re-establish the old Viking colonies. That would be pretty cool to see. Now this is the locations as it stands right now. The more observant of you will notice that there's not many provinces here. In fact, there's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 21 locations, which is really not much. I'm guessing that 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces, if I'm not mistaken. I'm guessing that based on the color, right? Because like the green ones would be a part of one province, the purple one a part of one province, the bluish ones would be a part of another province, right? That would make sense. Now Reykjavik is the first area that was colonized by the Vikings. Everybody knows this. It's weird because you would expect the area closest to Europe, which would be in the east, to be the first one colonized, but no, they just up and decided to make the first colony on the other side. So whatever the logic behind it, I don't know, but it is what it is. The majority of Iceland, however, is not colonizable. There's a massive uninhabitable area in the center of Iceland, and that actually makes sense because if you actually look at the Iceland map on Google Maps, you'll notice there's pretty much nothing here. Not any villages. There are some roads from what I can tell, and I guess some small outposts or stations or something, but all the villages and the habitable locations are on the coastline, including the southern bits, which begs the question, why why is the southern part not available to colonize in EU4, in EU5? I would assume it's because it's harder to establish a village here, and maybe this was done way later, or maybe this is just no, okay, so my bad. This is literally just one dude's farm. That's it. This guy, oh, it's a petrol station. This man has a petrol station, and there's like 4 houses. Yeah, this place does not seem like the friendliest. I understand. Still, it does seem like it has green. It has a little bit of trees, maybe. I'm not sure about that, but would be nice to at least have the entirety of the coastline available to walk on, at least, right? Also, can anyone help me pronounce this? Vatnajökull National Park. Did I pronounce that perfectly, or what? Do I get my Icelandic citizenship now? I think that I'm not even joking. Totally didn't make this up. In order to get the Icelandic citizenship, all you got to do is just pronounce this national park's name and the capital, Reykjavik. See, I said Reykjavik perfectly, in fact. So I need to get double citizenship. I need to get the Greenlandic one too. And wait, what? 20 locations? Did I not count 21? It says 20 locations in a wasteland. I am so bad at counting. It's wild. This is Greenland. We've got one big province in the north with 6 locations and 2 more provinces in the south. I would assume 2. Wait, no, that's a little bit too much, isn't it? One province has 3 locations and the other province has how many? 13 locations? I would think that the southern bit is actually 3 separate provinces, isn't it? That would make more sense. It says that Greenland is divided into 3 parts: eastern, middle, and western settlements. All of them cut away from each other, so the only way they can basically communicate between one another is via ships. So imagine if these guys don't get any option of colonizing the other 2 areas, and what happens then is some European sneaky boy comes here and colonizes the other 2, and then you have Greenland people, and you also have Romanian Greenland people. And the right timeline right there. I'm actually curious where they got their data about the native people in the Azores. I would love to see their sources for that. So we do have apparently some natives here in all of these islands, and we have also the Funchal in Madeira. Interesting how Madeira is actually 1 location but 2 sea zones. Like, what? Oh, okay, so it says we have to review the sea zones and make it 1 instead of 2. That makes more sense to me. Now these are the Canary Islands. We've got Arrecife, Bentachuria. Oh wait, these are the, no, that's not the cultures, man. That is the province. Oh my god, I'm just the worst. I thought that I thought those were the cultures. I don't know what I'm doing with my life sometimes. Oh, we also have a little bit of a leak here, because I don't think they intended for us to see Lachiun and Assa, 2 provinces in North Africa by the coast. 6 locations in the Canaries. Wow, that's a lot more than E4, that's for sure. And speaking of a lot more, look at that. Cape Verde has 5 locations. We've got Fogo, Santiago, São Nicolau. Okay, I have to ask, why do these have obvious Portuguese names of saints, right? And why do the Portuguese name everything something saint? Santiago, and then San Nicolau, Saint Nicholas, Saint, what is that? Antony or something like that, and then Boa Vista. That is very divergent from the rest of the naming right there. This is the provinces map mode. Okay, so there is 4 provinces in Reykjavik, and this is the wasteland itself, not actually a province. We've got Vestibirg, Middle Settlement. Oh yeah, okay, I was right. There's 3 in the south actually, and the southernmost one has only 2 locations. Okay, very poor of them. 4 provinces in Greenland. Wow. As for the Azores, all of them I would assume is 1 province. Then Madeira is 1 province, and then also Canaries is 1 province. Cape Verde is 1 province too. This is the terrain map mode. It's continental only in the southern bits below Reykjavik and Iceland, and the rest is just all Arctic. Why then did people settle above the nice continental area? That's the real question, right? We got mostly mountains in the north, and then a little bit of hills and flatlands around the other areas, with Iceland arid around the African coast, including the islands up to Cape Verde. And these are the sea tiles. So this is ocean sea tile around these islands here, as well as coastal ocean. Okay, so this is cool. So coastal ocean, ocean, and deep ocean. So the main sea lines between the various islands and between the old world and the new world is going to be primarily deep ocean, meaning that you're going to be taking a buttload of attrition with your ships when you go over these particular areas, of course. A little bit surprised to see, but we have an actual 100% harbor in Greenland. I cannot really make this this out. I think it's Gardier or something like that. That is pretty nice. So Greenland becomes naval superpower. I'd like to see that happen. Like, genuinely, they've got better natural harbors than even Cape Verde has, or for that matter, any of the other islands, including Azores and everybody else here. They've got worse natural harbors than the Nordic countries have. Like, what? Culture map mode, it's pretty much all Icelandic, both in Greenland and Iceland. No separate Greenland culture. Everybody is Guanchi in the Canary Islands. The Azores, as it should be, is not populated, so there's no cultures there. Religion map mode, we have Catholic everywhere in the north, so there are no Norse people, at least not a majority of Norse people. Now he also mentions here that Iceland and Greenland are Catholic. It was even recorded that an Icelandic bishop attended the Fourth Council of Lateran in 1215. Yes, nobody denies the fact that Iceland was Catholic by 1337. Majority. In fact, pretty much, I would assume unanimous Catholic. But I do suspect that Greenland should have some Norse. It's not necessarily shown here as any sort of significant minority. However, we also know that in the 1200s, there were quite a few Norse followers still. And just having one record that says that there was a bishopric and a church in Greenland doesn't mean that everybody was Catholic, okay? Come on. Reality is, doesn't really matter anyway, because there's like 1,000 people in that island, so it makes no difference, really. Actually, now that I think about it, considering that there are just 1,000 people in that island, maybe everybody was actually Catholic, right? Because it would be a lot easier to convert such a small group of people to one religion then. Whoever was not would probably get ousted and murdered. Good old Catholic way. The Canary Island people are animist. They're not Muslims like the rest of the Berbers, because they are a part of the Berber groups. The materials we have are mostly fish, so that should appease the Norwegian overlords. We do have a little bit of ivory, though, in the northern parts here of Greenland from all of those Greenland elephants. I know it's from the freaking walruses. Come on, man! We also have lead, voted, in fact, worst metal by the Association of Radioactive Materials. I see some more ivory here in the south, and wild game, wolfish, and stone, and that's pretty much it, really. We do have, apparently, a little bit of lumber. That's kind of weird, because as far as I know, Iceland was really struggling with lumber. That was one of the issues they had. They had to import a lot of lumber into Iceland, right? They had until they build up their own supplies and forests and shit. I don't know. Cool to see, though. A lot of ivory from the elephants again. Fish, livestock, and that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, there's horses here. Wow. That is actually surprising. As for the islands themselves, it's all fish, guys. It's actually all fish. What is surprising, though, is that Iceland and Greenland have their own markets. Like, what? Okay. Otherwise, apparently, it's not playable to... Oh, God. This is going to be interesting. I feel like Iceland's going to be one of the toughest challenges in the game, really. So I was right. 1,479 pops in Greenland and 46,000 in Iceland. We have a little bit of a proper distribution here, and pretty much everybody's in the southern bits of Greenland, as you would expect. Roughly around 30,000 Berbers and the Canaries as well. Pavia says there's no evidence of Thule culture inhabiting the area as the Norse, although some contacts are reported. Apparently they were present more to the north of Greenland. We have reviewed a bit the sea zone area, thus it won't be productive to present it yet when it comes to the harbor. Okay, interesting. Madeira is one location. Orkil or Orson, what type of dye exploited by the Guachen, explaining why there are dyes in the Canaries. I didn't even notice that, actually. If there's sources of Norse presence in the 1400s found, maybe they'll add it, but right now they have decided not to add any Norse in Iceland and Greenland. You know what? I think I'm actually gonna look for some sources myself and maybe make a forum post about this. I'll let you guys do it as well. I mean, I would appreciate it if you did, if you found anything. Well, let me know in the comments if you have any sources, link them so I can check them out too. But I'll do a little bit of research too, because I'm also not sure if there were or not at this point, right? And it would be really hard to find that kind of information, to be fair. Almost as hard as to find the fact that there were only Catholics in Greenland in this time, because we don't actually have anything that says that there were only Catholics there. We just have one little bit of a letter that mentions that there was a church, which was also a bishopric there. That's it. Doesn't mean that everybody was Catholic or nothing of the sort. So, oh, and he also posted in the comments section that Norway has the Faroe Islands, Orkneys, and all of these bad boys here. They are Shetland, Horsehaven, and Orkney to be more precise. Then they're all Norwegian culture for that matter, including a little bit of the northern parts of Scotland is Norwegian apparently. How many levies can Greenland raise at the moment? So apparently 28 is the army of Greenland. Oh my god, I am so gonna do a video with Greenland when the game comes out. That's gonna be insane. World conquest with 28 people in 5 seconds. 1444 German Empire borders as Greenland. You heard it here first. Then Johan Johan steps in and says there are natives in Greenland. The Kalalit people migrated there shortly after the start of the game. So after the start of the game. That's why there's none right now. And from what Johan is saying here, it kind of feels like they're going to be having an event which gets the Kalalit people in Greenland. That was it for today, boys. It was a little bit of a short one. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.